Today we're going to discuss what we think is the best holiday watch. We're Clockbait. I'm Anthony.
I'm Luke.
And today we're going to be discussing what we think is probably one of the best buys for a holiday watch, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is the
go.
Oris Aquis. That's a fantastic value at the moment as well, isn't it?
It's the first time I've handled one of these. I've handled quite a few of Oris's range, but never even really seen them.
For something, what is it, 1,500 quid brand new?
I've literally just noticed it's got slightly blue on the dial as well.
Yeah, it's full of surprises. It's lovely. So yeah, 1,500 quid brand new. On the grey market, probably about 1,200 quid, and then second hand, the cheapest I've seen is 900 quid with box and papers. Which
unreal.
Such a bargain. It feels like so much more of an expensive watch. But obviously, first of all, into the specs. So it's a 43mm case on it.
43mm case, yeah.
50mm lug to lug.
You won't have the lug width because it's got an integrated bracelet as well. We should mention that.
12.5mm thick.
Mm-hmm.
It's got an Oris movement as such, but it's just one they've played with.
It's an Oris 773, which is a Solita SW200-1.
Yeah,
but it just means it's got a red rotor and they've regulated it. That might not be true, but that's what I'd assume it is for Oris to call it their own. But they're really upfront about it. They don't pretend it's their own movement,
which is good. 38-hour power reserve.
Yeah,
300 meter water resistance, not 300mm.
Is it only 38-hour power reserve? Is it
38-hour power reserve? But obviously hacking manual wind and all of that good stuff. Ceramic bezel, sapphire caseback, sapphire double dome with anti-reflective on the inside as well. Super Luminova, and
it's got a great spec, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's got the date complication as well, which is which is quite nice. It's got a double deployment clasp, which feels quite safe as well. Bracelet, stainless steel bracelet, tapers down to about 60.
For the money, it's a beast.
It is a beast.
It is a beast.
And talking of beast, it's a 180 gram beast as well, so it's pretty damn heavy.
Yeah.
But I'm not letting that put me off. This is one of the first big boy watches that I've put on. I actually quite.
It feels big.
Like.
It feels big.
It does feel big.
Even though,
nice.
I think what works with it, it's got these kind of industrial style lugs that taper down. So even though it's 50mm lug to lug, it's the way it tapers to the wrist, and I think the fact it's got the integrated bracelet, which I like messing around with straps too much.
Yeah, me too.
To get a watch with an integrated bracelet. However, it works well. It works really well. It just hugs the wrist, and I think it's a fantastic looking thing. I think it's got the only thing that I'm not a massive fan of is the crown. It protrudes massively, and the crown guards.
Yeah, they don't kind of do their job.
They don't do anything. They've got one job, right? Crown guards. You've got to guard the crown.
They must be French.
Imagine if it's
they're retreating.
Imagine if it's the Queen's guards and they just, I don't know, divot around in the background somewhere. She'd be shot.
It is. They do seem pretty damn pointless, but I won't let it put me off. But what does put me off about the crown is that when you do screw in, because it's got a screw down crown as well, it still sits kind of proud off of the side of the case, which just puts me off a little bit. The other thing that puts me off is the highly polished outside. I don't mind that.
It's kind of like the anti-Rolex that do it in the middle on their oysters.
Yeah, but there's a reason why they do it, because it's just a fingerprint magnet. It just marks very easy. As soon as you touch it, it's just covered in marks.
Wear gloves then.
Wear gloves. No, we're not. We're not he who must be not named. But what I do like as well is how subtle the sunburst blue dial is.
Yeah, do you know what? I hadn't even noticed it. You've been shooting it on macro, and I've not really been involved. And
you have to really play with the light to get it.
I reckon outdoors in proper sunshine.
Yeah, I wore it outside.
Did you?
It looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I had no idea.
The applied hour markers as well. They're really quite smart. Under macro, it holds up really well for, let's say, 1,500 quid watch. There's a few blemishes on the hands and whatnot, but bloody hell, I was looking at it was like 5-6 grand Explorer the other day, and those hands were much worse than that. Talking about the hands, it's a lovely, interesting hand as well. It's kind of like sword. I don't know really.
It's not quite Dolphin, is it?
No.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's a really good looking watch. It is unique, and that's quite hard to be as a diver. I mean, do you know the only thing, it does remind me of the case, because it's just like a one-piece case. It reminds me at the side of it, you know, the Seiko tuners. That's the kind of, it really reminds me of the Tuners, that big, hefty, tall watch, you know, no mucking about. It is what it is. It's a diver.
It feels substantial. It feels really well made. It doesn't feel cheap and horrible. No. It just feels nice. And I think as a holiday watch, you could wear that into the all-inclusive buffet. You could jump in the pool. You could go do whatever water sports you want. And it just don't matter.
First thing that goes to your head of shock, buffet.
Buffet, of course it is. You don't get to have this lovely belly without mainly aiming for the buffet on holiday, mate. I just think it's a perfect. If you only want to take one watch on holiday, you're a bit conscious about taking something like really expensive. This is brilliant. I think it'll really stand up well to a beating and a bit of character.
Do you know what? I mean, the fact as well, it's a true diver as well. 300 metres.
You know you're going to be safe.
It is a dive extension.
Yeah, it's got a dive extension as well.
Okay,
yeah,
cool. And I mean, the only thing that I don't really like, apart from the crown protrudes too much. From an aesthetic, it doesn't really annoy me that much. It's the fact that crown guards just aren't big enough.
Just aren't doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do anything.
But then I think that'd add some more weight and being a bit uncomfortable. So I'm kind of glad it's like that. But I know what you're about to say. It's that bloody bezel.
The bezel.
The knurling isn't aggressive enough. It's too smooth. So your hands would be slipping. If it was using it as a dive watch, it'd be a pain in the arse.
Because it kind of protrudes downwards. It's quite sharp.
Yeah,
as well.
And it's just hard to get a grip. You can't get much purchase on it,
and it's quite. I mean, it's stiff. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere if you're off diving, but you won't be able to
change it either. No. But then, are you really going to be using an Oris as an actual dive watch? Probably not. You're never going to change the bezel on it, are you? So
I don't know. A lot of people use them as divers. You know, but
maybe I think I would happily use it. I mean, when I next go on holiday, I wouldn't mind using one for scuba diving and lounging around the pool and messing about in the sea. I think it's perfectly legible as well. And even though it is that massive size, the bezel is the widest part of it. You actually lose a mil because the bezel protrudes over the top of the case. So it isn't massive. And normally
it wears really nicely.
I couldn't wear a 43 mil normally, but.
Like I've always said, it don't matter about this. You know, I'd never try and get caught up with the numbers of how big a case is because it's how it wears. You know,
yeah, and this does wear incredibly well with the way that the lugs taper down as well. It just sits quite nice and flush to your wrist. The other thing I see is a bit pointless is why is there a sapphire case back on the back of it?
Why?
Yeah, why? Who wants to see that?
Oh, I don't know. They're like the red rotors, don't they?
I just don't see the point in it, to be honest.
You'd rather a solid.
But that's just me being picky. It is me being picky.
Well, it's not exactly a highly decorated movement, is it?
No, exactly. So overall, I just genuinely think this is probably, if you're looking for a decent holiday watch or even just a decent daily, this is perfect. This is fantastic.
Here's a question then. Would you have that for a similar price over the Divers 65?
Yes, I would actually.
Would you?
This I've picked up, and I've been really bowled over with how good it is and how much I like it. The Oris Diver 65, I picked it up, and it was like not quite as good as what I thought it was. Still a fantastic watch.
That could be down to the fact your expectation of this was lower than it.
Yes, exactly.
And the Diver 65 was a higher expectation. But that feels like a tank, you know.
This punches above its weight.
Yeah,
and that's a lot of weight for it to punch above. The Oris Diver 65 was kind of all right. Yeah, it's all right.
We still need to get one in for review. I still would quite like one, to be honest, 65. So
I would have one, but would I have one over this now? Maybe not, because if I was going to go for an Oris Diver 65, I'd go and get the Rado Captain Cook.
Again,
yeah.
But I mean, for the money, I think that's really, really, really. It surprised me. You know, it's great quality.
Absolutely fantastic. If you can deal with the weight and the size, as I say, go and try it on. If you're normally scared of 43mm watches or 42mm watches, just try it on, see how you think. And obviously we're forgetting, if you are worried about the 43mm size, they do it in 39mm anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what price it comes in at 39. I should have really researched
It's going to be a little bit less.
A little bit less, and yeah.
And it's available on leather, so if 180 grams is a bit...
as well, rubber.
Yeah, it is rubber, yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, so if 180 grams is a bit too heavy for these weedy arms, just get it in leather instead.
Sorry, let me just tense.
Let me tense. Yeah, so just go and try out the Oris range anyway. The Oris Boutique in London, if you're about, is a really, really nice place to have your lunches. So really helpful as well. So yeah, thanks a lot. Bye.